All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, Nightly Strategy Podcast, Friday night, May 5th, 2023. Start with the swing portfolio. Old reliable Alcoa, 30-minute charts. We had a pretty big gap up today. It opened, did like a morning hook and go. Bought it, standard risk, closed well, +2 in hand, holding that one, holding most of the positions over the weekend. AI, this is the C3 AI company, caught at 2. We started yesterday. It closed, I think where did it closed here yesterday. And today it kind of gapped up and continued to go well. And we're holding 1, 2, holding +2. And I like it that it's over this previous hump. So that feels like this could really go on Monday. I'll be watching for that one. Caterpillar, great American company. You know, this is sort of the reason why I don't like holding that short over the overnight. So we closed that one yesterday for about +2, and then all of that would have been erased on a gap. It didn't fail, and then spring turned to summer and continued, so we ended up buying that and holding +1. I'm holding out for a move to here. If that holds, it gets to here. And then it's the 10-day high. I'm liking that one. That should benefit from that strong jobs report today. Cliff, we took that one, you will recall yesterday. We said, what should you do here? We took that position and closed it. The gap would have murdered us. We took the gap and go. And this thing closed poorly right here. So we're basically break even on that after having been +1 for most of the day. CVS, no trade. Dish initiated the COTA 2, holding that one over the weekend. That's +1. Devon Energy we got beat for -2 on this one. So we were short yesterday. It closed here and we were about +1 in hand. And then that ended up gapping all the way to here. And so the +1 went to -2. So that was a net of -3. So that one sucked. Electronic Arts initiated the delayed COTA 2 here. So again, we closed it. So no overnight risk. No, I'm sorry, we didn't. I'm sorry. It held here, it sold off, and then on the recover we cashed it this morning. That's right. That's the start of the day. Misread my own chart. Then was tempted here, but let it do this, and then as it was taking that out, felt good enough to take it. We're about 0.5 in hand on that one. Emerging markets, this was a nice one. Finally got back on board. Missed this entire move to here, but today the gap up. Just held my nose and bought it, and it closed at 1, 2, +3, and it's well clear of this. Made a new 10-day high today. That feels like it could really go. Ethereum, this was just, I had to end this trade just so I could, for my own peace of mind. You will recall that we were long from here, missed the exit, and then suffered all the way through here because of span of control, just missed it. The next day, it recovered, so just held my nose and bought it back. And then it really worked, and then yesterday added this position, and it closed well. Today it gapped up and started going, so I put a 4th position on, and then I just said, you know what, I have no right to this, so let's just get out of it. So this one trade here that's +1. This one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, +5. This one is +6. And this one is +7. So this was really quite a trade. This was about plus 20. And so don't do that. This should have been a -1 here and then re-entered here, and that would have been a much better play. But this one paid off. So flat on that one. Mexico. Mexico. Let's draw the chart, please. All right, Mexico. We are so we initiated today on the gap up and a break through the PSAR and closed here, so we're holding +1. Brazil caught a 2 entry basically. Why isn't this not working? So we got the caught a 2 entry. Then when this cleared the RL10, added the second position. That was pretty much a 2-hour battle drill anyway. And that closed really well. And so we're holding 4 on the first one, 2 on the second one. So we're about +6 on 2 positions. So basically 3R per position to the good. And that one feels like it could really go. When we go, yeah, it should be able to get up to 29.25 or 29.50 early next week. Intel, this started off nice yesterday and closed here, but then couldn't hold it, and so basically got out at a scratch. IP, no trade. Real estate, no trade. This one was a disappointment. You know, yesterday we initiated the short, or actually 2 days of the short near the close. Yesterday on the big gap down and collapse, it got to here. So we were holding 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We were holding +9 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. +5 on this one. And all that disappeared today on the gap, which basically this one lost and this one gained, and that's a wash. Just, brutal. Brutal. I should have been out of this one so fast right here. But the regional banks have been murderous, so that was the calculated play. McDonald's yesterday reinitiated the SSC, which is really, if you look back far enough, it's a COTA 2. And that closed well today, so we're holding about +2. Feels pretty good. Merck took the -1 hit on it today. So we initiated that one yesterday at the close as it was trying to climb out. And then today it rolled over, took the -1, and then it recovered, so I added it back on. So we're -1 net, and but holding one position overnight. Marijuana just continues to amaze. No trade. Clean energy. Took the 1-day gift, and this was a revenge trade. So we got short on the PSAR flip yesterday, missed the exit, gapped up, and now that what was +2, I managed to turn into -0.5. Stupid. I forgive myself. And then the revenge trade for +1. So we're just going to call that one a wash. Rivian took the +1 gift. Treasuries, no trade. That was, I'm almost starting to regret that one here. I was picturing that, and it's right smack in the middle, and it could go large in either direction. And the only reason I didn't take it was because it'll be there on Monday, and there's still a very large move to here and a very large move to there. So I'm just going to wait for Monday and see which way it goes and follow it, rather than hold it over the weekend. Tesla, the fanboy got about half an hour on a gap and go, and U.S. Steel. No trade. Thought hard about it, but I already had exposure in Cliff. Let's go to the sniper trade. This one was straightforward. Oops. This one was... So this is Alcoa. And here's the gap. There's your OR3. It didn't do anything till it got to here, and then crossed back over the dragon, so took that to here for +2. It did not fail further, and then crossed back over, so re-entered. Second entry at the 2-hour battle drill, and then got one more. So this one held. This one's +3. This one is +1. So this total net was 4, and that one was 2. So that's about 6 for the day. All right. Here's some crypto from Steve. That leg 1, leg 2, leg 3 that rolls over. There's an owl entry right about here that pays. But he does get the, notice how it comes into the station and chills out. And then he gets the PSAR flip, standard risk that is well below the Z3, so, or the RL10 belly. And that looks like a standard risk box. And it unfolds and goes. He cashes it at the edge of the dragon for about +1.5. That looks good. He asked me a question in the chat room. What did I think about the 1s versus 3s versus 5s? It really comes down to your own span of control. You know, if you're making a decision every 1 minute, what's the number of symbols that you can handle? If you're making that decision every 3 minutes, can you handle 4 symbols versus 1? And 5 minutes is out here. How many symbols can you hold on to there? And then it really just becomes, you know, how many are you monitoring on your setup charts? And then how many are you managing active trades? So you kind of can watch up here to see what they're doing. And you say, this one's coming into the trading window. So you bring that down, expand that a little bit, and then manage the trade. You're monitoring here, managing here. So how many of those on 1 minute can you monitor and then manage? And that's what we mean by span of control. And then how volatile are those symbols on those different time frames, and how liquid? And you have to tune that to your own sustainable decision making. And not on your best day, but on maybe a below average day. And that may actually shape how many that you're managing, and then what time frame you might be using on a given day. And then if you're floating back between multiple time frames, it gets even harder. All right, here's Steve on IDEX. Yeah, this. Oh, that's right. We just looked at that one. Sorry, I thought I clicked it. Here he is on EWZ on the threes. Gap and go. This is really a Kata 2 to have been here, but this is pretty good still because it makes a new high of the day. Standard risk. It works. He adds a second position. Might have added a third. Exits everything here. Oh no, this is Hamad. I'm sorry. That's a pretty good, in terms of R based on the size of the risk. 1, 2, 3. He's basing these on position sizing. So he gets his second position here, and that gets 2. So he's right around, because he's using a 1/5 risk versus position. He's treating that as 0.2 of a position sizing risk. The 5R that he gets really nets out to about 1.1, and that's sensible, as so that he's not blowing up while he's learning the patterns. Diamonds were pretty non-moving during this whole gap right here. This is just content to be at that price, I suspect. This short had a micro loss, tries a long micro loss, scratch. Now, as a stop and reverse, that would have been nice. There just wasn't much wiggle room in this whole thing, so he gave back half of what he earned from Brazil on the Dow. It was just not. It was complacent today. Does a little better on the Qs, which were a little more directional. This is Brian on the ones on DAA, and what I would say on this is, look how much screen space you have dedicated to time and MACD, excuse me, MACD, and you don't need that much space. And then what that does is it only leaves you this much space for prices, and you can't see any kind of signals in here at all, in my opinion. So there wasn't much in there, but he was able to get 0.3 because of early trading inside there. That looked good. My brother just snuck in. So he gets the long here. He nets 1, and he's just going to hold that as a swing. I don't disagree with that.
That actually started yesterday. So
yeah. And here's PBW. 2R
that was
battle.
the Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla, and then it rolled over quick, so 2.4. There was there's the 2R battle drill, and then all out here for 4.4, 6.8 for the day on that one.
But that's specifically looking at that PBW, which was the
Yep.
Godzilla that you asked me to look at yesterday. So
Yep. Why not?
I think I am going to do that chat channel too.
Yeah, and Tesla brings home 11. 11 out all over and 4.3 for Tesla. Standard 2R battle drill. All out. Doesn't fail. Holds, breaks through. 1.3. So 11 for the day. Pretty sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. I made the college leadership's head explode today when I went in and showed him that in 3 hours I could go from a single question to a 10-week graduate course in critical thinking with complete lesson plans in the college's standard. They don't know what to do with that. They wish I would go away sometimes. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see. I think I'm going to offer that as I like it so much. I think I'm going to offer it to the tortoise people. Just as a way to think strategically. So I wrote that lesson. I wrote that as a case study that showed how I used the iterative prompting of ChatGPT 3.5 and 4 to go from a single question of what are the top 15 cognitive biases that Tversky and Kahneman found to win the Nobel Prize in behavioral finance, which makes basically the rational economic man theory of traditional economics basically just fail. And then I turned that 3 hours later into 100 pages of concise lesson plans to our college's standard. And they said, well, Ken, why did you do that? We already have critical thinking courses out there in the world. And why did you use traders? And I said, well, if you notice, that was not a lesson on how to create a critical thinking course. It was a lesson on how to partner with artificial intelligence to create new things, using the power of AI and the power of your own creativity to achieve something novel, and how to think with mathematical rigor and give guidance to the AI in grammatically correct English as a programming language. And then I told them that I chose the critical thinking course because we were already very familiar with the content and we were in a good position to collectively evaluate the quality of the course, which everybody agreed was amazing. So we could actually confirm that the process produced quality. But what I was doing was demonstrating a masterclass in how to do prompt engineering and iterative development. You don't have to have a perfect prompt. What you do is you develop that through refinement and through the dialogue with the artificial intelligence. And then I told them, and I chose traders because the overlap between traders' decision making and psychology and stress is about 95% identical to that of military decision makers. But I didn't want to tell ChatGPT in open source that I was studying critical thinking for military leaders. So by creating it for traders, I know that I can use it for military officers and sort of hide behind the veneer of traders. But it also helps me produce a good course for our traders. So I'm trying to help them think in the 21st century.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Good
let's
luck.
go to the weekend reports. All right, so starting with the weekend report. So still bullish quiet. Had a nice little recovery today. Green bullish. Come on, green bullish. Still risk off. There's a little concern about a critical state could fail in either direction. We're still vulnerable. I would say that. We remain at 60% exposed in the ETF2 model, meaning that 6 out of the 10 large indexes are above their 4-month MA, which allows us to put 60% in. The holdings have been doing pretty well. This whole group here has been dominating, and we're getting ready to explore the rest of the month of May with the leaders in charge. Looking pretty good. The regression line fractals. This held nicely here in spite of those two pushes to the downside. The slope is still nice. The RL90 slope is pretty good. Now the 30 has rolled over and it closed very well on price, so this could very easily become the next leg up. So I'm a little more optimistic now than I was at the start of the week, but we're not out of the woods yet because we still have very strong resistance here to contend with. And that 420 is still the magic number. That's got a lid on this whole thing. 3 bar and 9 bar are both looking favorable. You know, I like the rising lows, the rising high. This is where the question mark is. Can this fight through here? We're starting to pull away from the PSAR support here. This is actually pretty favorable on the longer run. There's more signs of healing now than there were before. We had a nice little recovery, a 2-day recovery basically here. And we're pushing near the top of that 150. I'm sorry, yeah, the 30-day, you can see now, here's our little 1, 2, 3, and it held here. So this was almost like a CATA 2 today, and it just cleared the previous peak. So this is 2.5 stars out of 5. It's still got to get through this to really be free and clear. And we're vulnerable to 2 different sell-off levels here. Do not let it get below 404. But a little more optimistic today than I was yesterday, I'll tell you that. The 30-minute shows the same thing. Here was the gap. It held that support level, pushed through this level, closed slightly higher. And you know, we're postured to break to a new 30-day high on Monday. That's not impossible. Looking at the blended monthlies, those are the keys for the blended monthly. They did pretty well this week. And that's pretty good. Double tech at the top. And the Euro Asia is doing really well. Add to that the European 350 pure. That's still all right. The defensive play in silver here is I'm probably going to offload a little right there. And I like this. I like this move in Brazil, starting to leave behind the weakness. This is actually starting to be a little stronger. I like that. In the large caps, old school tech dominating. That's why XLK is pretty good. There's your Merck and McDonald's, also doing really well. The big banks could not maintain their momentum from buying out all the smaller regionals. Just look at the difference, even among the members of the Dow, how the winners are winning and the losers are getting smashed. I mean, whoa, Walgreens, holy smokes. And even within the banking sector itself, if you take a look at J.P. Morgan as the winner and compare that, I guess travelers are doing pretty well too. And then you compare that to American Express getting slaughtered, and Goldman Sachs getting slaughtered too. So J.P. Morgan for the win. This is that Godzilla play, clean energy. That maybe that's the time for that sell-off has ended and it's getting a little bounce. We'll see. Look at the diversity in the U.S. markets. The large cap growth versus small cap value with the blobs in the middle. So that's looking pretty good. Small caps are suffering. Euro-Asia and Europe stronger than the S&P generally, and tech about equal with the U.S. tech. So the globals are still outperforming the S&P. Tech, large caps, mid caps, small caps are really suffering. They're small caps and mid caps in the U.S. are the two weakest in the entire stack, and they're both still on cash, along with Asia less Japan and emerging markets. That is like a flight to quality in the large caps, and that says that when and if that turns, these guys got some real catching up to do. When that happens, it wouldn't be surprising to see people take some profits here and plow it back into here. So we'll be on the lookout for that value play. This week there was not, the winners continued to win. That's basically Europe plus tech. Trading candidates here: regional banks, energy, gold miners, Brazil, and biotech, oil exploration. So a strong energy finance component in there. This is, if I can be honest here for a minute, this is why that getting smacked on KRE was so brutal. I mean, this thing was just horrible, but the gap just obliterated a really strong trade. That's what you got to put up with. All right, we've been through all that. Go to the tactical summary. A ton of auto framers. Real big wins in Apple and Microsoft today. That's the two tech leaders, the safest money between them and McDonald's. Tesla had a nice little bounce. Japan, Brazil, marijuana, golly. Only a handful of auto framers. There's your standard planning factors. Still a few Godzillas remaining, none in the tactical symbol set, but you got a INCY as a raging Godzilla, couple stealthy Godzillas in there. Standard stats. Winners and losers today. I sorted this one by percent change. Coinbase smashed. Tesla, finally a good day. Good days for Alcoa, Cliff, and U.S. Steel. All of them well above the broad market, and still with a nice reward to risk ratio available, but especially U.S. Steel. Semiconductors, 2 out of 3 were better than the S&P. NVIDIA had a strong day. Texas Instruments, not bad. Intel was the anomaly. I was really surprised by that one. That may be a value play next. next week. Yeah, my brother points out. Remember that Alcoa and PBW still. Today was just the first day of the moves for them in the Godzilla. There's still plenty of time for them to continue to move. I think Alcoa is the safer bet myself. It's much more widely tracked. Tail of the tape, just about everything did well today except the defensive plays, gold and treasuries. And old school tech won strong in the Dow. And the top trading symbols remain the same, kind of Tesla, Nvidia, clean energy. Devon and Intel still in the game, marijuana in the game. Tesla remains the most dominant. All right, that's everything I got for us today. We'll get this published and posted and be ready for stories in the morning, swings tomorrow evening, and foundations Sunday morning. Remember, the Owl University lifetime deal ends on May 16th. The one-time lifetime access that ends on May 16th. That is a very good value. It'll be open as a annual subscription, but this is your chance to lock in a very good deal. All right, that's everything we got for today. Bill, you got something?
Yeah, I have some outside the trading world interest in the Owl University.
Yep.
Can we throw together a
Yep, whatever you want.
I'll throw together,
Just put a
maybe you give me
proposal.
something and I'll put together a video so I can
Yep.
put it on the YouTube channel and get that out there because there's some folks that are very interested in that. Cool.
Can do.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
See you in the AM.
What I would say is if they know what they want, we could tailor a separate one just for them because the Owl University that we're putting together for this community is going to be intensively focused on trading, psychology, decision making,
Right.
and creativity. And so,
Uh,
you know,
the two guys, one's a wealth manager
all right.
and the other one is a real estate magnate.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
those
Well,
things will
all right.
kindly up. Like
All right.
so
That works
wealth
then.
generation management, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I'll put something together.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Yep. Ciao, everybody. Catch you tomorrow.
Ciao for now.